Hi, this is Chad. Welcome. This is to Foundation Digital Media. This is assignment 2, Illustrator Basics. So this is obviously helping you learn the basics of Adobe Illustrator. There's a couple videos that are located at the end of this project sheet. That's down here. There's an intro to Adobe Illustrator and then the basics, the demo and review of the assignment, which I'm doing right now. So after you review the project sheet, check out the videos. The next thing is to open up the Adobe Illustrator Basics support file, which is located. So if this is your assignment, here's the project sheet. I usually have a PS after that. And then this is the support file AI, okay? If you download it and then open it with Adobe Illustrator, it looks something like this. And to open the file, you will either, once you download it, drag it on top of the Illustrator icon, or open Illustrator and choose File, Open, and then navigate to that file. Let's see. So if we were to do that, we'd go here. This is just where I have it, but you would probably have it in downloads or something like that. When you choose open, this is what you'll see. Okay, so I'm scrolling around so we can kind of see what's going on. What the idea is there are 4 pages. The first one, if you look close here, let's see, it says trace the shapes with the pen tool. Use the same stroke width, which was, stroke of 1, but use a different color, and no fill. So here's the pen tool here, okay? Right now, you can see that I have a white fill and a black stroke. I need to change that fill to a none. And if I double click on it, here is my color picker, okay? And if I pick a color, it's going to pick a fill color. And if I have this to the front, and if I double click, then if I pick a color, it's going to do the stroke. So what we want is no fill, which is here. And then a stroke is something other than black, which we're going to probably do let's do like a nice fuchsia or a quinacridone rose, kind of low. Well, probably that'd be more around here. Okay, so let me go back to the project sheet so we can get you going. Yeah, so page 1 through 3, you'll trace with the pen tool. Use 1 stroke and no fill for all your shapes. Except page 3, it asks you to fill it in, and please do that. On page 4, however, we're going to learn a new tool or 2, and that is the pencil tool. And we're still going to trace shapes. We're going to fill them with the exact color of the design, and we'll use the layers palette to organize our art. Okay, so it kind of goes that way. Okay, so let's get to it. We're on page 1. I'm using the pen tool, and to trace this shape, I want to click at the beginning of the line and then the end of the line. And now I'm done with that shape. I want to go to the next one, but Illustrator doesn't know that. What I need to do is to click the selection tool to deselect it. Then I can go back to the pen tool and begin drawing. Okay. Now let me just go back here. There's an easy way to do a shortcut, and I really thrive on shortcuts, so I'm going to show them to you. So we'll click on the beginning. Now here's one thing that students do sometimes is they go through, and there's a bunch of pen tools here. There's also this pen tool. Only use the basic pen tool, okay? It's easiest, it's less confusing. So click at one end, click at the other. And then the shortcut is to temporarily go to the selection tool. And to temporarily do that on a PC, you're going to click the control key, which you'll go to one of those 2 selection tools, and it does the same thing. we just want to deselect. We want to click away to deselect it, and then I'm going to release that, and we'll back to the pen tool. So it's Control key on a PC, Command on a Mac will get you where you want to go. Okay, so now I am slowly tracing this, and to get straight lines, absolutely straight lines, I'm holding down Shift. Notice that I'm holding down Shift. I can only do a 45, a 90, a 0, a whatever that degree is, 180, 270, that type of thing. So let's say I don't do that, and I'm off a little bit. Okay, so, and I've held down Command because I'm on a Mac and clicked away. I want to go to the next one, but you know what? I do want to fix this. Do I have to delete the whole thing? No, I don't. To fix these, move this anchor point over to the right location. Let's see, this selection tool will select the entire thing. So if I try to move that, it'll just move the whole thing, which is not what I want. I want to use the direct selection tool. And this tool, oops. Okay, the direct selection tool will select an anchor or a line. It'll select part of your whole. So let me do a line just to show. So here's, I've just clicked and I'm dragging this line, okay? Control Z. If I just want to change this anchor point, I'll click and drag. Okay, and notice that nothing else was affected, only that anchor point was. I'll do it on this one, click and drag, and then click away. Okay, so that is how we do that. I'm going to go, so if I'm doing a project and I keep going to the same tool, I'm going to look at the shortcut for it. Here it's the letter P, or the keyboard P. So I'm going to use that. So I'm at the letter P, and now I'm going to begin tracing this shape. Now, fair warning, when you trace shapes in Illustrator, you can't do it in portions. You have to do the whole thing, or you have to add on to it. So let me give you a little, let's talk about that for a minute. I'm tracing this, and let's say I click that off, and then I go to this next, and I go, oh, I want to go fix that. And you can. So I'll go up to the selection, or this direct selection tool. I'll zoom in a little bit. I'll move that over, get it right on. And then I want to continue, and I can do that. That's fine. Pen tool. Whoopsie, what happened? Oh, I must have. Okay, here we go. All right. So to continue this, I can continue on either end. It doesn't matter. But I can't just start, going from here. I have to add on to the stroke. And notice, if to add on to it, do you see the little slash next to my cursor? That means it's going to continue the stroke. So I'm going to click and begin tracing again. And we'll keep rolling around. Now, and then I need to complete my shape. Illustrator likes complete shapes. Let me show you what happens if we don't make a complete shape. Let's say if we go here or something. Actually, better yet, let me just go off that way a little bit. Okay, so this is for the future, not this assignment. We're not going to fill it. But let's say we wanted to fill this with some shape. Oh man, that was a bad example. Okay, let's say our shape is not connected. You'll notice that it does stuff like this. It'll make slashes. If we didn't connect this one, it would just make a bunch of holes. So let's go back. Well, maybe this is a good chance to show how to fix this. So I'm going to drag this on top of it. And is it corrected? No, it's not. Do you see what's going on? It's still not a complete path. What I need to do to make this a complete path, and if we go in really close, you can actually see that it is not a complete path. See how these lines have like a 90 degree, and we're seeing them not meet right here? To connect those two, I'm going to use the direct selection tool, And I'm going to make a little box. I'm going to select a box so it catches this point for this line and this point for this line. Although I dragged them to the same spot, they're both selected. Excuse me. I have a little, and what I want to do is join them. So the quick keyboard shortcut is Command J for join. I'm going to go up to Object and see if I can find join. I think I can. There it is. There's join. Look what it did. Now, if I drag one, it will drag it together. And that's what I want. And so this path is complete. Now, let me show you, as you're drawing this, how do you complete a path? Here, I'm going to add on to this. You see the slash. I know I'm going to complete a path if I drop, see the circle that shows up? That means like it's going to complete a shape, not a path, a shape. It's going to complete a shape. So if I click on that, now we have a complete shape. It's all connected and done. Let's get rid of the color, the fill in. And yeah, you get these. I probably will not. Well, let me just do one. Holding down Shift on some of these. There's the circle. Okay, that's done. All right, now let's move to page 2. Now you obviously need to finish these up, but I think you have enough information to do that. So this one, we're going to use the same stroke width, the 1, in a different color. I might change it to something just to keep things somewhat kind of interesting. Okay, grass green's great. And now all of a sudden, now we're introduced to curves. So curves can be tricky, but they don't have to be. Let me show you. Let me just show you some. Let's talk about curves. So if we were to look at a circle generated in Illustrator, now notice I used the circle tool, and I held down Shift, and I clicked and dragged, and then released. This is what the circle looks like in Illustrator. Now, one thing unique about curves in Vector is that they use handles. These are handles here, and these are anchors. Okay, look at my mouse over them, it says anchor, handle. The handle controls your curve. It controls, so I can change the distance and also the angle that the line leaves the anchor. Okay. So this is Illustrator's perfect circle. Notice the handle is parallel. This handle is parallel with this handle. And this handle is parallel with this handle. Notice too that the anchor is at the very top, very left, very bottom, and very right of these angles. So when we're drawing a curve, it's probably, if we want it to be like, now notice this, I'm considering this, it's not a circle, not even half a circle, but it is symmetrical, right? So I'm going to put an anchor at the top here, and it should, the handle coming off that should be absolutely flat, as this one is. Okay, we're getting the idea, I hope. Okay, so our first step on this is to use the pen tool and create our anchor points. Then we will come in and add curves. So this is how we'll do it. We'll start at one end, and we'll add an anchor. And that's the very left-hand side of this curve, right? Of this half circle. Let's consider these a bunch of half circles. Very left-hand side. Then we'll go to the very top and insert an anchor, and to the very right and insert an anchor. Now, this one on the right is also the very left hand of this bottom arc, right? So we'll do that again. And very top and very left. Okay, now I'm going to hold down Command to click away from that. And now I'm going to add in my curves. So I'm zooming in to get a better look at this. I'm going to stay in the pen tool, and I'm going to hold down Alt on a PC, Option on a Mac. No. Okay. yeah, so I'm on a Mac, I'm holding down Option, and notice when I get next to a line, this is kind of the curve line tool or something. I don't know what this is, but as I start dragging it, notice it's starting to get curvy. There's handles that appear, and I'm going to stop right there because this is pretty flat and that's pretty straight up and down. Now I'm just going to adjust how long that handle is, and I'll adjust how long this handle is. Something like that. Okay? We'll do the same thing here. Holding down Alt on a PC, Option on a Mac, I'm going to click in the middle of this line and drag it. Now I could leave it here, that's fine, but notice that there's a gray gap on that side and on this side. So I still have to move these handles around to get it right on. Something like that. And then this one, something like that. Okay, that's pretty close. All right, now I'm just going to shorten these handles to here and this handle to here. I really think that this anchor may be in the wrong spot, so I might move this down just a little bit, maybe to here. Now that definitely is going to throw this off, this curve off, but I think in the end it'll be a little more accurate on both sides. Now, if I wanted to get these anchors in the exact spot, and I was like kind of OCD or whatever, I would, maybe not OCD is not the right word. I'm sorry about that. I'm going to move my handle down to that line, and then I'm going to, or that anchor, move that anchor. Okay, let's see if I can get that in the middle. Okay. And then obviously I am trying to do this just right for y'all. Oh boy. Okay, I think I'm getting a little closer. Okay, that's feeling really good. Doing good? All right, great. Okay, so back to my pen tool, hold down Alt or Option, drag that out. Oh, look how far off I was on that. Terrible. Okay, maybe there, and maybe shorten this a little bit, something like that. Okay, holding down my Option key. Okay. And I'm just going little by little, a little bit here, a little bit there. Kind of have to be careful about getting this right on. Okay, so that is how we make, so it's kind of a two-step process, right? So we make anchors at exact points, at least we try to, and then we make curves. So this one I think you've got. I'm going to quickly do a circle, and I think this is going to be pretty simple. I'll hit one here, far left, very bottom, far right, and then top, and then we'll just pull these out. Now I think I'm going to overshoot these a bit, like that, because I know I need to go back and adjust those handles anyway. And you know what I found is when I'm adjusting the handles, I can also hold down Shift, and it will keep my handles at 90s or 0 degrees, or so it's not only when I draw lines, but it's also dealing with the handles. So Shift keeps this pretty exact. Why do I keep zooming out? Okay. That one does not look absolutely correct. And I have a feeling that I have to move this over just a bit. Try that. So not only does the pen tool, if you hold down Alt, you can adjust these handles. But if I'm in the direct selection tool, you can also adjust handles using that tool. Okay. All right, so that is that. Then we're going to come down, excuse me, come down to here. This one we're going to trace and fill. So I'm going to go in with another trace color. No, not blue, because I already have blue. How about, excuse me. We're going to do orange. Okay. Pen tool. I think you guys already know how to do the angles, so I'm really not going to mess with that. Let's do the letter S, because we have two of those. It's a little complicated. Okay, so let's kind of break this down. Flat, that's obvious, that's an easy one. It's flat up to this point, right? And then the curve begins, and then it gets flat again from here to maybe there. Flat again, here to here. And so notice that I am adding anchors where the curve begins. Okay. Kind of in that area. Okay. So yeah, again, where it's flat, I can just do a straight pen line, but when it's curved, I need to use the pen line's curving capabilities. Yeah, and just kind of keep these straight up and down so it doesn't look that choppy. You know what? You can leave this at 1 point. In the end, you're going to get rid of it. So I'll probably move this down to a 0.5 so I can see it a little better. Okay, something like that. Straight up and down, straight up and down. Great. Okay, we're getting the hang of it. It's really pretty simple. And I'm just holding down Alt and then dragging. Now notice if I left this alone, it would go up straight, and then it would kind of like have a very small little curve outside of the, but we don't want it. We want to keep that straight up and down, right? So, and what that does, it makes a really nice curve from the straight line to the curve. So that's important. Same thing here, but just on the inside. We need to have a nice rounded transition between the flat area and the curve. And we're kind of working toward that. Notice like flat, and then it kind of jumps to the curve. But if this is flat, then the transition is much smoother. Okay, get that flat there. This one nice and flat. Okay. Okay. So that is a lovely letter S. What I'll probably do is just fill that in. I'm going to get rid of the stroke on this, none, and I'll change the fill to whatever, red. Okay. Now notice I have another S here. You don't need to redraw it. You can duplicate it. Okay. So what we've learned in the, if I'm dragging it and I hold down Alt or Option, see my double cursor? My mouse is still down. I'm able to drag it, and I'm holding down Alt or Option. If I release my mouse first, then release the key, I've made a duplicate. If I drag it, holding down Alt or Option, and release the key first, then the mouse, then it moves it. Okay, so we don't want to do that. We want to drag, Alt or Option, release the mouse first. Okay. Then we want to size this down. So I'm going to align this bottom with the S, and then I'll go up to this top corner, and I'm going to hold down Shift, and that will constrain my proportions as I drag this down into shape. And then once that aligns, I can release, and it kind of snaps. And then there we go. So we don't have to do it twice, right? And I think you have everything else here. Okay, so let's talk about this Mandalorian. I'm going to get rid of that whole thing because that's kind of in the way. Actually, I think it's the contextual trend. Yeah, okay. So we want to duplicate this. Okay, the idea is to duplicate it. And we're going to, first let's talk about layers. Now this has obviously a lot of layers, or one layer. Illustrator works in layers. And the way I explain layers is, if you've ever seen an overhead projector, like maybe in grade school, and teachers put transparencies, you know, like the clear paper on it, you could draw on one transparency, put a new one on top, and then draw on top of that. And that's essentially what layers are in Illustrator. So it's like a bunch of transparencies. Okay, so here's our artwork. I'm going to duplicate that, put a bunch of layers in here. I'm clicking this little plus button down here. Okay, and then, so if I have to go, what layer is closest to me? We don't need, so let me just back up. We don't need to do the text, okay? Just the image. The layer that's closest to me is this dark red layer. See how this one is behind it, and that mountain is behind it, and the sky is even behind everything else. So the closest one is this dark red, and so, the highest layer on our layer palette, the one closest to the top, is what's closest to us. So I'm going to call this, I'm going to double click on it and call it dark red. Okay. Okay, so maybe I should go through what all these things mean. I think what may help is if I'm just going to change the color of this to orange. Okay, so I have this selected. This is on our artwork layer before we added in all these layers. And because it's selected, it has a little highlight right here. It shows that something is selected. Okay. If I want to move that to a new layer, I would take this and drag it to any one of these layers. If I leave it on dark red, notice the highlight color changes. It was blue, like that. See, this, it's hard to tell, but that's blue. And then if, let's say, I just leave it on this layer 9, the highlight changes to orange. And you can see that there's a new little, this is all that's on layer 9. This is a little display of everything that's on that layer. Let's grab that letter S and move it up to the dark red layer. See how this is on top and this is underneath? Now if we move that underneath layer 9, now that would be on top. So are you getting the idea? If something is up at the top, it's closest to us. It's in front of things. So right now the only thing, the object that's in front is the orange. It's on top of it, right? Okay, so let's talk about a few other things. This eyeball lets you hide layers or make them visible. So here I've just hidden this layer 9. It's still there, but it's just like that transparency. If the teacher takes off a transparency, she still has it and she can put it back on, but we just can't see it right now, okay? Which is really nice. The other thing, and I'm just going to go in a row, this next box, this is the locking mechanism. So I cannot select anything on this layer now. I can't move it, I can't select it, I can't change color because it's locked. I can on this one. That makes it's still very easy to select that. Let's say we had something stacked very, very much on top of one another and it was hard to select the bottom layer. We could lock it and even hide it and then work on this bottom layer and then bring those back. So that locking option is very nice. So this little color bar tells us what color that selection is. So if I was to select this, it's in that black. And sometimes that's not convenient. So let's grab this letter S and let's move it. Orange is kind of bad against that yellow, but what's worse is even this yellow on yellow. It's really hard to see that that's selected. But what we can do is double click on this empty space here and change the highlight color to something else, this bright green, neon green. Okay, so now we can see that highlight color really well. Next thing over to the right is this twist down. And every time you draw a shape in Illustrator, it makes a sublayer. I hate working with this open. This shows all the things that I've done on this file. But sometimes it's nice to dig down and go, okay, where is this? And notice you can like select, this is this other S here. There it is. And I can leave the whole artwork on, but hide, like keep the whole artwork layer visible, but just hide that sublayer. Okay. Or lock that sublayer, whatever it is. I usually work with them all twisted up. Okay, next bit is, this is the display, and this is the name. So I could double click on the name to change the name. I think this is just the red layer. And I think this one is the light red mountains right here. Dark red, red, light red. I'm going to call that dark orange. Here's another way to change the name. It's double clicking on this, and you just saw me pull that up. It brings up layer options, and here you can change the name dark orange. Change your highlight color. You could lock it. You could dim it so you can trace things. I love Illustrator because it's just completely versatile and it's really cool. And then, so this is our dark orange here. This is going to be just orange. This is light orange. After that, we will put in the clouds. And then the sun. And then the sky. Okay. These other layers, I did too many, so I'm just deleting those. Let me show you how I did it. I selected, and I could delete that one and then select the next one and delete it. Or I could hold down Shift and click. I could click each one, right? Or I could click, if it's a big list, I could hold down Shift and click the bottom one and they'll all select, and we'll choose delete. Okay, so, okay. So let's say I want to move this S over, down back to my artwork. To highlight everything on a layer, to select it, you'd use this little target or the meatball thing. So you click on it, it's now selected. I'll prove it by just sliding over. Okay, so it's selected. It wasn't before. And then I can move it down to artwork. And then I'm going to meatball this S and move it down to artwork. And now, you know, nothing has really changed, but now if I hide artwork, I already know it's on artwork. Or I can meatball it and see that, oh, all those things light up. So I'm just going to hide that for no real reason. And let's get going on our poster. Okay, so we're going to use a new tool to trace this. It's called the pencil tool. It is found by clicking the shortcut letter N or going under the shape builder. And we'll just go to the straight pencil, not the smooth, not the path eraser, not join, just the pencil. And there are pencil options that you need to be aware of. So if we double click this pencil, we're going to see pencil options, pencil tool options. And there's a fidelity slider, which is pretty critical to drawing accurately. If we do it, let me show you what smooth looks like. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in, and then I'm going to draw this mountain as accurately as possible. Okay, so this is going to, I mean, I'm taking my time on this, right? Okay. But look what it did. Now it's in dark red, so that's a problem. So I'm going to change that to something we can see. See how it smoothed it all out? That's because this pencil, it's on smooth. If I move it down to accurate, it's not going to change back. I'll just need to draw it again. So don't make that mistake. Start at the very beginning with your pencil tool at accurate, and then trace. Okay. And then when I release, it makes a whole bunch of anchors, but it is accurate. Now I'm going to slide over and work on the next bit. Remember, just like the pen tool, I need to continue this path. I can't just start, I just can't start here and go because, well, let me show you why. Let's say, let's see, okay, there it is. So here, we'll just make this a complete path. At least we'll try to, and show you how it doesn't work. Okay, so now I'm going to select everything in there, and it looks pretty good from here, right? And then I'm going to fill it. So my fill is to the front. I'm going to use the eyedropper and select dark red. And it should fill with dark red, but if we look at it, this is what happens when it's not connected. It looks like crap. It looks terrible. Okay, so what we need to do is connect them correctly. So how we do that, let me get rid of our stroke on this. And I'm going to continue this line with the pencil tool. There's my slash. That's important. That means I'm continuing my line. Now, one thing I really hate, see how the pencil tool is not showing me what it's like covering up part of the path, which is a problem for me. So what I'll do is hold down the key locks, and now I just have an X and a plus. And now I can see my path much better. The tool is not hindering me from seeing what I'm drawing. Okay, so you get the idea. I have a pretty complex path now. It follows the mountain. I'm just gonna, just for speed's sake, get that done. Now you don't. You need to stay nice and careful when you trace. Okay, so now we have straight lines. We have to finish the shape. And we do it with straight lines. What tool works best with straight lines? Of course, the pen tool. So I'm going to use this. See, there's my slash again. I'm going to go down to this corner. To this corner, and then up to my starting point. There's the circle. Okay, now I can fill this, and it will accurately fill in. So I can choose a color here, but I need to make the color exactly the same as what is on the art. So what I will do is bring my shape to the front, use the eyedropper, and then click on the dark area. Now I know this is a flat color, and they used a gradient. See how it's darker, a darker dark red, a medium dark red, and a little bit darker dark red. But we're just going to use the dark red. Okay, so that's great. Now, and that's on the dark red layer. You can see it. So that's wonderful. Now I'm going to use the pen tool, and then we'll trace the red one. I'm not going to be, I've already demonstrated accuracy. I'm just going to do a non-accurate version, but I'm expecting you to trace this accurately. Okay, and I will stop right there. I'm going to go to my pen tool, and notice well, let me finish this up, and then I will make a panic about this not being on the right layer. Okay, and I'm going to color this using the eyedropper. Boom, yes, done with that shape. What happened to my first shape? Well, look what I did. I put it on the same dark red layer, and it covers it up. Yeah, that's kind of the idea. But the problem is it's on the wrong layer. So I'm going to select it, and then do I have to redraw it? No, I just need to move it to the correct layer, which is under the dark red. So I'll just select it, grab my little selection, and drag it to the red layer. Now, if we're this is where we're at with the art. That looks pretty good. These are not yet aligning, and so I'm going to use the direct selection tool and make those aligned. I'll just run to the other side and make sure that is aligned. That looks good. Okay, turn my art back on, and then we're going back to it. Hopefully everyone is getting this. I'm going to go a little faster. Pen tool, there's my slash. I don't need to go all the way because guess what? It's already covered up. Here it is, eyedropper red. I'll move it down to the correct layer, and then I'll make any adjustments. Yeah, I'm a little off here, so I'll just slide that over, and let's move that. Okay, we're rocking and rolling, right? I could go to the dark orange and then just trace on that layer, right? That would work out great. I'm in the... Okay, now I'm going to skip those figures, and because this medium orange and then eyedropper orange. Everything looks great. Let's check that side. That looks okay. We'll fix it a little bit. Okay. The figures. Okay. I'm going to hide that dark orange, and then we'll go to the orange layer. Okay. And that's where the figures are. They're connected with that orange layer. So one thing, the figures are nothing special, except that there's little cutouts to show the background, and I'll show you how that works. What we'll do is we'll use the pencil tool, same thing, and I'm going to trace these little cutout areas. See, there's my circle again. I've made a shape. There's one right here. And this is a terrible color for this layer. Oh, it's orange, and the color I'm using is orange. Okay, better. Put that down. That looks about right. Pen tool. Okay, and then we'll go to this one. And then this is a hand. I don't know why that didn't do its job. Oh, I was way off. Okay, one thing super cool about the pencil tool that I didn't share with you yet is how to correct it. So notice that I was way off here. So I think it's good to show starting in here. Edit selected paths within 8 pixels. What that means is if I'm within 8 pixels of this line, I can redraw the line and it will edit it. Okay, which is really amazing. Let me do that. I'm starting in 1 and I'm ending on the line or close to the line. There it is. See that? So the editing is really lovely in this. Okay, so now what we have, I'm going to quickly toggle to wireframe, and that's a Command Y. Okay, cool. So far, so good. Okay, so now pen tool, and we trace. Grogu. Is he a Jedi? Is he a Mandalorian? Can't be both, Grogu. I think he's going to follow his dad, which is kind of lame because... Anyway. Okay, I am not going to spend a lot of time on this. Let me give you just kind of a quick... Okay. Take another bite at it. There's my slash. Not a great shape of head on this image. So how I'm doing this to select it, like see it's kind of there, it's kind of not. I'm going to my shortcut Command or Control on the PC and clicking on the line. Then when the last point pops up here, I'm clicking on that, making sure the slash shows up. That's how I'm like adding on to this line. Okay. I said I wasn't going to take some time, but I am taking too much time on this. Okay. Command or Control, and then here, and then there's the slash. Okay, cool. So pen tool, come down to here, and then connect that so it gets a circle, and then I'll color that orange. Okay, we'll eyedropper it orange. And now we have to cut out those shapes. So how that works is, I'm just going to zoom in, show you what's going on. I'm going to hide the background. I'm using the selection tool and then making a selection around to include the outside shape and the inside shapes. Okay, so one more time, but to cut out these shapes in here, I need to select both the outer shape and the inner shapes. So I'm making a selection box to encompass all of them. So they're all selected. Then I'm going to go to this tool. It's called a Shape Builder tool. We'll use it quite a bit in this class. It's pretty cool. So, and then what we'll do, if I just click and drag, this is how you unify shapes. Okay, so it will just like bring them all together. I don't want to do that, so I Control Z'd it to remove it. So this is, I'm just undid my key lock or cap lock. So it naturally just adds to everything. But if I hold down Alt or Option and click inside these little shapes, it will remove them or kind of pop them out from the background. I don't think that's a complete shape. That's our problem on that. Let's do some editing. Yeah, for sure. That's what's going on. Okay, so pen tool. I'm going to come up to here, and then I'm going to use that, and I'm going to hit Join, Control J, to join those. Then, then I'll select those and then cut those out with the Shape Builder. Yeah, okay. So there we go. Did we do it? That's the question. Let's turn on the light orange is done. Let's see. Maybe I'll go to my light orange and then make a sphere around it and then change it to like a yellow. Yeah, and you can see that I indeed cut those out. They're not just colored white. They are cut out. Okay. All right. So that is how this rolls. We're doing great. Let me turn back on my... Okay, may as well finish this out. This is my kind of light orange or yellow. Use the pencil tool. Cap lock. Going really fast now. Yeah. Faster than I should, but that's okay. Okay, I am going to edit that because that is a disaster. Did that work? Okay, good. Now I'm going to have to connect these with the pen tool. And boom. Bottom, and we'll go left, and I'm holding down Shift in there. And now we can use the eyedropper and select that to orange, and then move this. You know, I think I may have missed. I'm going to add a layer in here. Notice, okay, so if I have to add a layer, I'm going to click on the bottom layer, the one beneath it. I want to add above it, click plus, and this one I'll go dark yellow. And then I'm just going to move that down to the dark yellow layer. Oh, maybe that was all okay. What was going on? I'm a little confused. Because this should be behind my orange. And it is, but it doesn't act like it. Did I not finish that up? Oh, yeah, I missed a layer. Okay. I guess I didn't do this layer, so I really thought I did. Oh my goodness. Let's turn these on. I did. Oh, maybe it was just hidden. So this one needs to come maybe there. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Yeah, okay. So I just had something hidden and okay. All right. So now we're getting to the nitty-gritty in here, and we need to do this background. I know the video's getting long. I'll try to keep this quick but efficient. We're going to do the sky right now. This is a gradient. It's a new tool that we'll be using in Illustrator. To create this, I'm going to use a rectangle. And I could hide all the other layers, which I'll probably do. I'm just clicking and dragging to hide those. Okay, I'm going to change my percent maybe to 95. Okay, great. Okay, so here's the deal with this rectangle. This is going to go behind everything. It's going to be our sky gradient. So we're going to try to go from this like ruby red to an orange to like this deep yellow to a really soft green to a soft blue. And gradients in Illustrator are much more not as natural as Photoshop. So let's bring up our gradient palette, go to Window and down to Gradient. So the first crazy thing we need to do is just make it a gradient. Boom. So now we have a gradient. This one goes left to right. We need it to go from top to bottom. So we're going to rotate this 90 degrees. Okay. So now our black is where our red should be, and our white is where our blue should be. So here's our black. This is our gradient slider. This is where our red should be. This is where our blue should be, and we should have more sliders in here. So what I'll do first is make some additional sliders. So you can see if I mouse here, I have a little, my cursor gets a plus next to it. And I'm just going to add in some, and then I can space them out. Okay. Okay. So now I'm going to define my first slider. So I've selected it. I'm going to use the eyedropper, and I'm going to click this red. If I go into this cloud, that's not my true background red. It's this one right up here. So there we go. Now where'd my gradient go? Stop vanishing. Okay. Oh, I see. It just goes away. I'm going to grab it and pull it out. Now it won't vanish because it kept collapsing. Okay, so here's my next right here, and I'll just go straight across. So there it is. I'm going to go straight across till I get to the sky, not on the clouds. And I'll go here, straight across, here, straight across, right here, right about that, here, and then this one, and then this one, which is, I'm just going to pick way down here. Okay. It looks okay. I think if I could add another slider right here. So this slider is the same as this slider. Same thing. Same thing. I'm going to highlight that and try to grab this color. And then I'm going to add another slider in here. Okay. We'll grab here, here, here. Okay. Okay. So that is, and I'm just going to dock that right in there. So this is our sky. It's on the sky layer, and it will fill up the entire background. Kind of. Well, let's leave it halfway for now, just something like that. Turn these all back on. Hide our art. This is where we're at. It's looking pretty good so far. Now we need to go to our clouds, and so the clouds are interesting. So I'm actually going to move this whole sky off the board. Okay, so I'm gonna get the pen tool, and I'm on the cloud layer, and you can take time doing this, but I'm gonna go rather quickly. Okay, so there is my cloud. I could just eyedropper it. I'm hitting I to get to it quickly, and then select it. That's fine. Another way to do it that may be more accurate and might become useful for you later on is when you draw these, instead of selecting this color back here, this is about as white as the clouds get. So I'm going to eyedropper that. Although now that is not the white of this cloud. So what I'll do is use properties, and I'll adjust the opacity until I get to about the right. Yeah, so that's about the right color. Maybe a little darker. Might be down to 50. Yeah, so then I'll put this right on top. And this is a similar type of cloud, so I'm going to trace this, and then I'll take this one also down to 50, but I'm going to eyedrop this, maybe that, and take it down to 50. And that looks really similar, right? Okay. And then here are these other clouds up here that we need to do. Now, this is an interesting cloud because let's finish off the shape real quick before hard to talk and do at the same time. I apologize for that. Okay, so this cloud is interesting because it's a gradient, and just filling it with a color is not going to do it unless we make our own gradient, but we don't want to do that. I don't. So what I'll do is just eyedropper this, maybe that, and then I'm going to reduce that down to about 50%, maybe lower. But notice what we can do is that it basically takes on the gradient behind it, since it's a solid color. But then, so if we look close, it looks kind of red, kind of orange, kind of yellow, because we've put some transparency to it. Okay, and then you finish out these shapes. Notice the sun needs to have a gradient to it. So let's do that. Okay, now I'm going to slide the sun off to the side. We'll just put some type of gradient here. And we can just delete these. Oops, just drag them away. That's it. That's how we do it. Oh no, where's my sun? Okay, I'm going to drag these out of there. Just click and pull them out. And this is a little different. It has to be a 90. I'm going to probably put in a few of these things, a few of these bars, so we can get it a little more accurate. Pop off that. And so for this first slider, here's our gradient tool. First one, eyedropper, that color. Then we'll go to this color, and I'm just going straight across, right? Now this one is a little harder, but it looks like it's down here, but there's a cloud in front of it. So we may have to fudge that one a little bit. So we can add a little more magenta to make it a little darker down there, and that kind of makes sense to me. Okay, we'll dock this again, and then we'll pull this over. Okay, and this is looking pretty good. We'll put our sky in place so we can see all the clouds we've made, which are not all of them, but that's your job to do all of them for sure. So this is coming along really nicely. The layers look good. I'm not going to grade on layers. If you can do this without layers, good on you. Do it if you want. But I am going to grade on how this looks and that it's actually done. So this will need to be turned in as a PDF file that you've saved as in Illustrator. So how you save that is this. You'll go to File, Save As, and let's see, I think I have... I'm just going to make a new folder then and call this Illustrator Basics Demo. So I'm going to save this as a, whoops, let me get this so you can see it, as a PDF. We'll save all the artboards and choose Save. And then on this one we'll choose just Save PDF. That's it. So it is saved, and that's what you'll submit to Portfolio, and then that link into Canvas. All right, excellent. Let's make sure we're all tidied up in here. A digital PDF file with all the shapes traced on all 3 pages, plus the art duplicated using Illustrator on page 4. Yeah, I think we've done all that. And this is due February 11th. That's a long time. We'll have another assignment that's due in there. That should do it. Thanks, everyone. That's assignment 2, Illustrator Basics.